So we'll start as soon as we have people join. Okay. I hope you had a great day at church today. I hope you had a pleasant, joyous celebration in church as we meet here every Sunday. So you're welcome. Thank you for joining me as usual. We are starting soon. So today we are going to be having a very powerful discussion. It was a discussion we had last week, but something happened. I don't know. Facebook did not store the video, so and a lot of people have been asking for the replay. So we're going to be having a replay. I'm going to have that conversation again today. So make sure you stay to the end as we dive into this powerful conversation every parent needs to know how to handle. As a matter of fact, many parents don't want to be part of this conversation, and it's one of the most difficult conversations any parent would ever have. So make sure you stay tuned today, and I want to thank you for always joining me. I'm so glad have people who are always looking forward to this conversation. So you are welcome. You're welcome. We are starting a moment. So this channel is all about discussing child protection, parenting, family life education. How can we build a healthy, supportive, safe home, safe family, safe environment? Our goal is to ensure that every child grow up in an environment that is safe, either in the home, in school, or in the community, because children don't have the capacity to protect themselves. They need you and I to be their guide, their protector. Every child that grew up to become an adult is a result of an adult who did their due diligence. So every child around us today also need us to become who God has ordained them to be. So this is a channel where we discuss child protection, we discuss family issues, how we can make the environment safe for our children. So I'm going to be starting in a moment. So quickly share this link with your friends. Let's get people join us. We're going to be starting the conversation in a very short while. But while we are, welcoming other people to join, I would like to know where you are connecting from. I would like to know your name. Put your name on the comments or on the chats. Let me know you so I can especially welcome you. And also quickly take the link, share with somebody who is going to benefit from this conversation, share with a family, share with a parent, a school owner. This is a discussion every adult must be involved. All right. And I'm super grateful that we are all here with me today. We do this every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. West African time, and I am super grateful to be your host. So as a start, let me introduce myself officially, and then we go into the discussion. So make sure you stay tuned, you join me in this conversation till the end. My name is Patricia Bokede. I'm a child protection advocate, a trauma recovery coach, and a parent coach. And I will help parents, families, schools, communities to raise children in a protective and safe environment. So today we are discussing something very powerful, a conversation parents or any adults may never want to be part of. I did this video last week, but somehow Facebook did not save the video, and I'm doing it again based on popular demand. So what is this the conversation we're having today? How do you handle the situation when a child discloses sexual abuse? What do you do if a child discloses sexual abuse? So I'm asking you the question, what would you do if you're a child you are taking care of, or a child in your school, maybe in your class if you're a teacher, or you're a school owner if you're a school owner, or you're a parent and the child said something happened, somebody did something to me? How would you react? I would like you to drop on the comments, what would be your first reaction? What would you say? So today we are going to be looking into this topic so that we can equip parents to know how to handle disclosure, or caregivers, because if we don't learn how to handle disclosure properly, we are going to scare children away and they may never ever want to disclose again. So now, this is one of the most difficult conversation any adult or any parent wants to. Hello, Kali, thank you for joining. I would like to know your name because sometimes our Facebook handles are not our real names, and sometimes I find it difficult to pronounce those names, so pardon me. So I would like to know your real name. Put it on the comments or on the chat. My own name is Patricia Bokede, and I'm super excited to have you on my show today. So now the thing is that many times children don't usually come outrightly to say I am okay. Okay, Ashley, thank you. Hey, how are you? Thank you for joining me. So where are you connecting from, Ansley? Where are you connecting from? I'm talking to you from Nigeria. All right, I would like to know where you are connecting from. Thank you so much for joining. And I believe you are getting value already, because many people, or a lot of children grow up, with the memory or the trauma of sexual abuse, never ever disclosing. Some live with it, some get really traumatized that they become even abusers again, and it's because of how these issues are handled by the adults in their life. And because we are adults, we have children around us, whether we like it or not. Children are being sexually abused every day, and it's our duty as adults, parents, to protect them, to ensure they are safe. So now many times children disclose they don't disclose outrightly, because disclosure requires courage. It requires, you know courage. And it's very important that if that a child build that courage to share their experience, the way that is handled matters. It matters a lot, because it's either shut the child up, or it helps the child to get help. So we are going to be discussing why children often struggle to disclose abuse. We are also going to be discussing what exactly is disclosure, what does it look like for a child to disclose that they were sexually abused. What do you say if a child comes to you and discloses? What will you say as an adult? Now, what should you not say? We're also going to be looking into that, because what to say matters, and what you should not say that you said also matters. Then what are the immediate steps to take if something happened, a child discloses rather than that they were abused? Then how do we support these children? How do we support a child after disclosure? So this session is educational and is prevention focused. For those that are joining for the first time, of course you know that this channel discusses how to prevent. Our interest is more in prevention than solving the problem when it has happened, because there are some traumas that once it has happened, it doesn't go like that. It stays with the abused or the victim. So our goal while we are doing this education is to teach prevention. How do we prevent this? Because whatever you know, when you are aware of something, you can protect, you can actually prevent. But what you don't know, it's more dangerous to prevent. So our goal is prevention than um, than than treating. We are more into prevention. So now let's go deep. So I want you to type on the chat: every child deserves to be heard. Every child deserves to be heard. So because we need to know that children also have voices. There are some people who feel, or in some areas, people don't reverence children that much. We feel they don't have their own opinion, they should just obey what the adult says, they should just be quiet, children should not be seen. No, children deserve a voice, they deserve to be heard. And that is why I am advocating for children. So let's look at it this way: why children often don't tell if there's a sexual abuse going on. Why? Because I've heard people blaming people, when they talk when they are much older, and say, wow, why did you keep quiet for that long? Maybe she was enjoying it. Maybe, people, excuse me, people blame victims or survivors of abuse, sexual abuse, a lot, not understanding what they went through. So why is it that sexual abuse is always difficult to be disclosed? This is very important before we talk about what to do if the abuse happen. Now, many children never tells, or they be delay telling for months, maybe years, decades, or never ever saying anything about it. Why? Because disclosure feels difficult. Children often fear, they may fear not being believed, most especially if that child grew up in an environment where they are often shown down, where they are often criticized. That child may fear that nobody will believe me, and that child may not want to disclose. Another reason why children don't want to disclose abuse is they may have fear getting into trouble. Because many times, for those who have been following this channel, I discuss grooming, how predators groom the abuser and the family and all of that. Now, some children fear that if they tell, they may get into trouble with the parents, or with the person that is abusing them, or with a family member. Some of them may fear the family member being hurt. For example, if the child has been threatened that if you tell anybody, you will die, or your daddy will die, or your mommy will die, or nobody, or nobody will believe you, though that child doesn't want any family member to be hurt, so they rather keep quiet than speaking up. Another reason is being blamed. Now, so many parents or adults are quick at blaming children for offenses, for not even taking time to hear the child out why they did what they did. So a child that is used to being blamed would often shut their mouths if something is happening. They rather keep to themselves than taking more of that blame, knowing especially that they are not even happy about the situation. They don't want people to add, they don't want you to add to their problems, so they rather keep quiet than saying. Another thing is losing someone they love. Imagine an abuser telling the child, if you tell anybody, somebody you love, maybe the father, maybe the grandparents, somebody very important to that child would die, or something bad will happen. For example, years back, I handled a case of a child, a 9-year-old girl who was being abused by the grand uncle. The grand uncle was using the girl for sexual harlotry. I think that's the best word, exploitation. The man brings older men to have sexual relationship with the girl, and told the girl, these people are witches, if you tell anybody you will die, or your father will die. And that child, out of fear, doesn't want to die, kept it to herself until somebody discovered something terrible like that was happening. So this child rather would keep to herself than allowing anybody to die. So now losing their loved one. Then threats by the abusers. I've said this repeatedly. Many abusers threaten the child, and these threats can come in different form. Some people even give favor to the child for taking advantage of them. So let's take for example a situation that happened years back. A man was molesting a girl and was giving the girl money every time the girl comes. Now the girl was staying with the grandma, and the grandma was giving the girl so 50 naira Nigerian money, which is very small for her meal for that day. And this man was giving the girl 150 naira Nigerian money for lunch. So 150 naira and 50 naira is 200 naira, which is better than living with 50 naira. So this girl was being, the threat was, if you tell anybody, you won't get this favor again. So some people give children, they give their abusers, they give the abused favor, maybe food, maybe treaties, maybe something. May even be that they are teaching the child, maybe a teacher that teaching the child a subject the child doesn't know very well, or something that the child really appreciates. And when the abuse is going on, they threaten that if you tell anybody, you won't get this favor again. So the child wants the favor, so they keep the abuse to themselves. So children don't disclose for some of these reasons I have just mentioned. And sometimes some children don't even understand what is happening. They don't even understand. I also shared some times ago where of a young lady, a girl 7 years old, whose cousin was molesting. Why? Because she didn't have the understanding of what is called sexual abuse. Her mother waited for her to be 8 years before she educated the girl. The girl has already been sexually abused. So when the girl's cousin was always telling her, this is how you show people you love. So there was a misinterpretation of love. So the girl may not even understand, or the child, now not girl specific, anybody could be abused, may boy or girl. Now the child may not understand what is actually happening to her or to him, and this may make the child not able to disclose. So also sometimes the abusers groom the family and the child, and they don't this is not just clear in their mind. That is why when a child finally speaks up, the way we handle it, the way we respond matters, because it takes them time to build the courage to disclose. So when there's a disclosure, it's important for us to handle it well. So the truth is that many survivors remember the response they receive more than the way they disclose the abuse. So the way you respond to disclosure matters a lot. It's very important for a child. So the first response matters. So now let's look at what disclosure may look like. What does disclosure look like? Now, disclosure sometimes may not come as a child may not be able to say, oh, I'm sexually abused. It may not come exactly that way. No. In fact, it will not always come that way. But children disclose in different ways, and I'm going to be sharing an eye-opener ways for you to understand if a child is going through abuse. Now, children often communicate, in with body language. Most times, their actions, their attitude may be speaking louder than their voice. That is why you must be a very sensitive and vigilant parent or caregiver to understand something is going on with this child. I need to pay more attention. One of the ways children discloses, they may say things like, I don't want to go there anymore. Let's assume a child loves to go to a place. A child enjoys going on holidays to a particular uncle or a particular auntie or a particular friends or family relation, and the child suddenly start feeling uncomfortable going there, doesn't want to associate with that family again. Something is wrong. Don't ignore it. Sometimes you may think the child is being naughty or is being The way we misinterpret our children's behavior sometimes, it may not necessarily be that the child is naughty. The child may just be telling you that something is going on, and be they don't want to be part of that whatever is going on any longer. Another way could be the child could say, I don't like being alone with him or with her. When it's, maybe there's a particular family member the child loves to be around. Anytime this person is coming, brings cookies, brings sweets, bring all, make the environment fun, and suddenly the child begins to withdraw and say, I don't want to be with this person again. Or maybe you send the child on errand often to a particular place, and the child says, I don't want to go there, or I don't want to go alone. It could mean that the child is telling you something is going on, and don't ignore that. It's very important. Now, another way, the child could say something happened. Maybe the child just came and say, Mom, something happened, and you just ignore it, or you just feel like, oh, what is it again? You are coming with your stories again. Please pay attention. Like I said, children don't come out outwardly and say, oh, I'm going through sexual abuse. They say it in a very simple, maybe behaviors, withdrawals, expecting you to understand they're actually going through some challenges. Now, another thing the child may say that may seem that the child is going through abuse could say, please don't make me visit that person again. So like I said, maybe holidays, maybe weekends, make weekend off, a family get together and things like that, and the child says, no, I don't want to go there, I don't want to be part of this, I rather stay at home, I rather not go, things like that. That is withdrawing from what they love to do before. That could be a sign that the child is going through abuse. Now, some children may not actually speak out, they may not say anything, but they may begin to withdraw. Like I said, they may display behavior changes. Their behavior may change suddenly. For example, a child that was very respectful to an adult before, and suddenly this child, begin to be rude, suddenly start being rude. It could mean that, why would a child suddenly be rude to an adult? Something is going on. So pay attention. Don't ignore it. Don't assume the child, because he is now becoming a teenager, is being rude. No. There may be something more important the child is saying than what you are saying. So pay attention. Or the child is acting fearful. Suddenly the child is afraid, no longer as excited and lively or vibrant as they used to be. That could mean that something is happening. Or show emotional distress. That could mean something is happening. Sometimes disclosure comes in pieces. A child may reveal information gradually. It is normal. It is very normal that those abuse or signs are coming gradually, so that when you eventually get the code, you don't make the child feel, oh, why haven't you said it clearly before? So these are ways children could disclose abuse. So if you've been getting value so far, quickly subscribe to this channel and make sure you share the link with somebody, because a lot of parents have zero knowledge about how to handle disclosure, and many children are going through abuse every day without telling anybody, because they are afraid, they are scared, they are saying something without saying anything, and you as a parent need to be observant. So like this video and share with a parent who needs to hear about this. Subscribe. We want to reach 500 subscribers before the end of before the end of next month, and your like and your subscription is going to help us to push this channel and these videos to as many people as possible. Thank you. Now let's go to another point we want to talk about. The first thing to do. What should you do? What is the first thing to do if a child discloses, what should you do? What should be your reaction if a child discloses? If your child ever or any child comes to you and mention or discloses that an abuse is happening, what should be your reaction? Now, it's understandable that most times when, of course, you hear things like this, you may be shocked. It's normal that you may feel, especially if the abuse is happening with from or excuse me by somebody you trusted so much, somebody the child truly love or respect. It can come with a lot of shock. It can arouse anger. There could be anger, of course, normal. You're a human being. Emotion will rise. Fear. Imagine those children I mentioned whose grandparents was taking advantage of them. Imagine a grandparent taking advantage of their grandchild. That is shocking, is it not? Very shocking. So it's okay to be angry, to be shocked, to fear, maybe, wow, this is happening, or even confusion or guilt. If you're a very busy parent, you've not been available, you've been busy and all of that, of course you may begin to feel guilty that, oh, because I'm not available for these children, they are going through this. It's possible. But that, all of that said, you need to be calm. Write on the chat, be calm, be calm. Even if you hear any of this, all of these feelings are understandable. But children need your calmness. They need you to be calm. They need you to show maturity. You can't afford to show your panic. Because, like I said, for a child to build up courage, to speak up, he will need to appreciate that courage. You need to be able to be firm and, be show an attitude of support for that child, so that child feel comfortable, feel confident that the child, that he or she has been able to reach the right person. So your calmness is important. If you panic, the child may think, I shouldn't have said anything. The child may, because children often blame themselves for anything that is happening. They always have this feeling of guilt. So be calm. That is why you are in this conversation, so that you can be well prepared, even if a child comes to you. You may be a parent, you may be a teacher, you may be a school owner, you may be a child caregiver, you may be a children's church teacher, whatever area or whatever, in any way you are serving children. Children may come to you because they needed somebody to trust, and you should be that person they can trust. So what do you say if a child discloses? What should you say? I've said don't panic. Even though inside of you are panicking, you have to be calm. So what should you say if eventually any child comes to you and discloses and tell you something? How would you treat if a child comes and say a particular pastor is taking advantage of them, or a particular uncle, or a particular friend of yours, or somebody you trust so much, and probably you've been trusting this child in their hands? How would you handle this information? All right, so what should you say? Now, it's what we say or how we handle it matters a lot, because this is going to help the child a lot. Remember that our goal is not to shut that child down or to make the child feel guilty for coming to tell us what they have told us. We want them to feel confident that they met the right person, that they are bold, that they did the right thing, and not to feel guilty in any way. So what should you say if a child comes to you? First is things like, thank you for telling me. Thank that child. When you thank the child for telling you, this acknowledges their courage, because of course they were not even sure of what they will meet. They are not even sure if they will be acknowledged or they will be blamed. So for you to say, oh, thank you for telling me, builds their courage, builds their confidence, and helps them to feel, oh, I can trust you. Another thing you need to say is, I believe you. It's very important to say this, because first, the child was afraid if they will be believed. They're not even sure if they tell anybody. Probably that has been playing in their head for months, for years, or even for decades. And eventually, they build the courage to come and talk. So let them know you believe them. Don't show any sign of doubt. Even if you are doubting, don't show doubt. Tell them, I believe you. Now, another thing is, tell them it's not your fault. A lot of time, children feel whatever happens around them is their fault. If their parents are quarreling, they feel it's their fault. If they are not doing well in their exams, they often blame themselves for a lot of things happening around them. So you need to reassure them that this is not your fault, because it's not the fault of the child. The child cannot consent to sexual relationship. So it's not their fault that they are being taken advantage of. It's not their fault that they didn't even know that they were being abused. It was not their fault, because if the parents have told them earlier, if somebody have educated them earlier, they would have known better that, oh, this is wrong. But what about a child that was never ever educated? That is why we advocate for early childhood education. Educate early. Give them the right age-appropriate sexuality education as early as possible. And it has to be continuous. It's not one time, and it doesn't have to be with fear. So go to the channel and watch other videos. I've discussed a lot about how to educate children on sexual education for children. Now, let them know it's not their fault. That's also very important. Another thing you need to tell a child, you did right to tell me. It was the right thing that you came to tell me. I'm proud of you. This reinforces their help-seeking behavior. That you acknowledge the fact that they came to you to tell you, helps them to believe that I have done the right thing. And this is very important. Another thing you need to tell them is, I am here for you. They need to know that somebody is supporting their decision. Somebody finally is hearing them out. They need to know. Let them know that you are here for them and you are ready to support them all the way. So in a summary, you can, this short of phrase or sentence, all the things I've said so far can look like, thank you for telling me, I believe you, I'm glad you came to me. This is not your fault. I am here to help you. This simple, calm and supportive sentence has done a lot for a child. It's very important. Tell the child, thank you for telling me, I believe you, I am glad you told me. This is not your fault. I am here to help you. So I hope you are getting value. If you are getting value so far, so subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel. You want to reach 500 subscribers the shortest possible time, and your subscription is going to help us reach this target before the end of next month. Also, share this link with somebody. Every parent needs to be part of this conversation. Every parent needs to hear this. Every parent needs to be equipped. Every child caregiver, every teacher, every school owner needs to know how to protect children in their community. And also, every community leader, because once a child is being abused in a community, other children are vulnerable. And it's also very important for us to know that when we protect children, one child will protect other children. But when we leave a child vulnerable, other children are vulnerable. And we are also giving room to abusers to thrive. So it's our duty as parents, as caregivers, as adults, to protect children. Now, The other thing I want to talk about is what should you not say. I have said what you should say. So what should you not say? Before I go in there, let me take a glass of water. Let me zip water. That's what I was supposed to. Okay, what should you not say? What should you not say if a child discloses abuse? Now, like I said earlier, if a child comes to you, especially when you are not expecting it, there could be fear, there could be anger, there could be, guilt. It's normal. But then, times without number, lots of adults have said the wrong things to children. Even when adults discloses that when I was a child, I was sexually abused, lots of time we blame them. And this is not the right way to approach sexual abuse. So what should you not say? Are you sure? Are you sure? I just told you that something is happening and I say, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? That can put the child aback, can make the child feel disbelieved, or can make the child, begin to feel guilty. I haven't said anything. I should have just kept this to myself. Or the child may begin to fear that he or she is in trouble. So avoid that question, are you sure? Rather, say the things I said earlier, I believe you. Or thank you for telling me. Now, another thing you should avoid saying, why didn't you tell me earlier? Let's assume the abuse happened years back, or a few days back, or a few months back, and the child eventually built the courage to say it. Sometimes a child may even build the courage because the child noticed that another child is already being abused, and it feels, if I don't say this, more children will be abused. So the child eventually grew that courage and came to tell you. Don't say things like, why did you tell me earlier? Why are you saying it now? That is the time the child is able to express himself or herself, and that should be encouraged. It should be appreciated. Now, children already carry fear and shame, so don't add to it. Why they didn't tell you earlier? Because they didn't want the same attitude to happen. They didn't want to be blamed, but eventually they have said it. Don't blame them anymore. Another thing you should avoid saying is, what were you doing there? What were, I've had, it happened a lot. Of course, people say, hey, what did you go and do there? Why did you go there? Yeah, but it's not the right thing to say. It sounds as if you are blaming the child. What about the children whose parents send them on errand? Or the child who was abused by the uncle? Or the child that was abused by the grandparents? Would you ask them, what did you go and do there? Of course, they are the uncle. The adult who is abusing them should know better that those children are children, and they should not be taken advantage of because they are children. So, I think that question is like you are blaming the child for being abused. That's not the best way to go about it. Then another thing is that don't tell anyone. This is a very, very scary statement. So many times, because we are afraid that, maybe family name, maybe other people will know about it, and you are telling, don't tell anyone. It is not something to keep secret, because when you are keeping a secret of abuse, you are actually protecting the abuser and not the abused. So don't promise that child. Don't make it a secret. Secrecy protects abuse, not the child. The abuser is who you are protecting, not the child. So it's not something to say, don't tell anyone. No. Then another thing you should not do, don't make promises you can't keep. For example, avoid saying everything will be okay, or I will do everything I can to help keep you safe. Don't make promises you can't keep. Just let the child know that I'll be there with you. We are going to be on this together. I will help you, or find a way around it. So don't, make promises or swearing that, that person will go to jail. Don't swear. Don't say things you cannot handle, because when it comes to sexual abuse, it's bigger than making noises, it's bigger than promises, it's bigger than making, because it's a whole lot of things that goes in handling it. Now, we have discussed what not to say. The next thing I want to talk about is, do not investigate the case yourself. I know you'll be wondering now, why should I not investigate the case myself? Why should I not be the one to investigate myself? Many times when children are abused, there are children that are very close to us. When children, of course, discloses, maybe they are your children, or maybe they are children in your class, maybe they are children in your school, maybe they are children in your church, maybe they are children's church teacher, and a child in your class, came to disclose to you that another teacher is doing this, or your child come to you and say somebody is doing this. Don't be the one to do the investigation. This is important, because the way you're going to handle it, you won't do it professionally, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, when a child discloses abuse, it's important for you to avoid repeated question. And when you when you conduct the investigation yourself, you would be asking questions that professionals should ask, and this affect the child, because you'll be repeating questions, you interrogate, pressure the child for detail. Don't do things like that. Avoid that. Avoid that question of, what did you go and do there? Hey, why did you tell? Those questions that pressurize that child the more. Or tell me more. Be careful. Now, why is this important? Because repeated questions can increase distress, can affect memory recall. Now, the child is already traumatized, so we don't want that repeated trauma. It can also complicate investigation. You're not a professional in this. Even if you're a professional, let another professional handle it, not you. All right? Now, listen carefully. Document what was shared. That is what you should do. Document it well. Seek appropriate professional support. That is your part. Listen to the child, document it, and seek appropriate professional support. Professional support can be from a counselor, counselors, counselors, or maybe child protection activists, any NGO, can report to any NGO. Doesn't matter what they do, they should be able to live with another NGO that can help you. It may be child welfare center, it may be maybe a nearby police station, it may be a hospital, somewhere, or somebody who can understand what it means to handle abuse, not just anybody. Better is social welfare services, or child welfare, not social welfare, child welfare services, or NGOs or activists who are into these matters. Some police stations have special units where you report cases like this, because not all of them know how to handle abuse. So this is important. So what I'm discussing is ensure this child safety. Now, when a child is going through sexual abuse, like I said repeatedly, it could be with somebody who the child is actually even receiving help from, or somebody who is close to the child, somebody the child is living with, somebody, maybe a neighbor, maybe a teacher, maybe a child caregiver. The safety of that child is very important. That is more important than any other thing. So your immediate priority is safety, and this is if there's an ongoing risk, take steps to ensure that the child is no longer exposed to that alleged perpetrator. So either you remove the child from the abuser, or remove the abuser from the child, whichever works best. So safety comes first, not family reputation, not social status, and not community pressure. the child's safety must remain the priority at the best interest of the child. That is what you should follow. Now, sometimes people try to protect the image of the abuser, who is a reputable person, or the family name. No, remember that child is still a child and is growing up, and the way we handle a child determines the kind of adult that child is going to become. So it's very important for us to handle these situations and handle it professionally. Now, let's look at how do you seek professional help. Children often need support beyond initial disclosure. Now, when they have disclosed, it doesn't stop there. We need to seek help for this child. Help can come from medical evaluation. Maybe go to a nearby hospital, them evaluate the child, especially if it was a rape case. The child needs to be evaluated. Let us be sure, something happened. Then trauma-informed counseling, because sexual abuse inflicts trauma. In fact, it's one of the most traumatic experience a child can have. It steals the child. So that child needs trauma-informed counseling. Not only the child, the parent or the caregiver, they need trauma-informed counseling. Its help can also come by child protection services. Seek the help of child protection services in your community, your environment. Some organization or some countries or some states have child protection services that you can call. You can approach child social welfare, can be child NGO, whatever services that's available can be of help. Then legal support when appropriate. Of course, sometimes you need legal support to handle situation of child abuse. Healing becomes easier when children are surrounded by safe, supportive adults. Now, because the way you handle this child determines how that child is going to heal. The way you handle the situation determines how the child will heal. If you handle this haphazardly or you make the child more vulnerable, this child may never heal. But if you handle it professionally, this child will heal well and will grow up to become even an advocate for sexual abuse. Now, let's talk about message to parents and caregivers. Parents and caregivers are key stakeholders when it comes to child protection, and it's very important for us to know that these children have been put in our hands because they cannot protect themselves. It's our duty as parents and as caregivers to ensure that our children are sane, they are protected, they are loved, and they are safe. So, if a child tells you something difficult, remember, you don't need to have all the answers. Now, children don't need perfect parents, they need supportive parents. So you don't have to have all the answers. You don't need perfect words. You simply need to be a safe parent, a safe person. A child needs somebody they can trust, not somebody that's perfect. A child who feels believed is more likely to heal than a child who feels ignored. The way we treat the child, the way we handle the situation helps the child to heal, to feel loved and supported. So I believe this session has been very, very impactful. So if you are joining my channel for the first time, we discuss child protection here, trauma-informed education, parenting education, and healthy family life. And we had this conversation every Sunday, 7 p.m. West African time. I don't know what time it is at your end. Just make sure you join me and drop a comment. Let me know what you are learning. Let me know if this has been a value for your time. All right? And also know that your dedication to child protection is going to help a lot of children, because when we have healthier children, we have healthier adults, and we have healthier community. So in closing, let me leave you with this very powerful word. When a child discloses abuse, they are not just sharing information, they are placing trust in you. They They have seen you as somebody they can trust, and we should not breach that trust. Your response can become part of their healing journey. Believe them, support them, protect them, advocate for them, because every child deserves safety. Every child deserves dignity. Every child deserves to be heard. So type on the comments, every child deserves to be heard. Every child deserves to be heard. So if this conversation has really helped you, type on the comments again, every child deserves to be heard. And share this video with a parent, with a teacher, with a caregiver, with a school owner, with a counselor, with somebody who has a child around them, with an uncle, with an auntie, with a grandparent, with anybody who has a child around them, because we all deserve to be child protectors. Now, inform a parent. Subscribe to this channel. We discuss child protection, positive parenting, trauma recovery, emotional safety, and breaking cycles of abuse. That is what this channel is dedicated to do. So help us to broadcast this message. Help us to reach our goal of 500 subscribers in the shortest period of time, so that this message can reach a lot of people. We can do this together. Help us to protect every child around you by sharing this video, by joining us every Sunday evening, by being part of our community. So I'll be seeing you next week by God's grace. Remember, every protected child has a better chance to be a healthy future, to have a healthier future. Every protected child has a better chance to a healthier future, and every safe child builds a stronger nation. So choose awareness, choose protection, choose to be different. See you next week by grace of God. So if you are watching this as an evening or in the morning or in the afternoon, make sure you join me next week at the same time. God bless you. I love you. Be a child protector. Bye.